I don't know if I'm ready to watch another of Grant Saunders videos, but the technology's just got completely out of hand. There's a very nice video of Ben Krasnow looking at the way certain laser diodes self-interaction. What happens is, how does it work? Some of the diodes have a feedback control system in them. Is that to do with tuning? But even if you just look at how laser LEDs work and the history of the development of lasers, then talking about what monochromatic light is and coherent sources becomes fraught on its own. Never mind once you put these into photomultiplier, single photon cascade detectors. I can't get involved in this project. I don't have the material resources to hand, and I don't have enough money to buy the equipment, and I don't have the time because I'm supposed to be applying for a job, and every month I get interviewed, and I have to somehow justify my job search, because my purpose in life is to become financially independent and something like that. So this is out of my scope, Matina, sorry. I wanted to do projects with Diana Cowan. I got really excited when I got to San Diego because I thought we could now we can start doing something, because I thought when I was in Bolivia that I was too far away, nobody could communicate with me, but it turned out nobody wanted, and maybe it's nobody wanted to communicate with me, or nobody could bear to, or I have no idea what the problem was. But I got to San Diego, well, I was in Mexico, but it's the same place. Tijuana and San Diego are the same city. There's just a fence between them, like Berlin, East and West Berlin. But it's a bit more permeable. There's a kind of osmotic pressure, and it's weird. It goes both ways. There are lots of Mexicans who have visas, and and they work. They go across the border every day to work, and there are lots of Americans who don't have visas, and they live in Mexico, and they don't necessarily have papers for Mexico. They don't even need a passport when they cross the border. It's all completely fluid for them. But for some reason nobody could talk to me or come to Mexico to talk to me. I was in Tecate, California. You have to pronounce it differently if you're talking about the other half of the town. It's about 20 miles from Tijuana. Still in San Diego County on the US side. So I waited a year. And my family weren't able to help me or communicate properly. And now I'm in London and people still don't want to communicate properly. It's just a madhouse. I'm fucking sick of it. And I just make videos like this, talking to nobody in particular. Anyway, what I would do if I could, what would I do? I don't know. I don't know what these other people would be interested in doing, but you can buy laser diodes. You can I'm sure those optical mice have laser diodes in, don't they? Because I thought that they worked with interference patterns and a tiny little imaging sensor which basically does interferometry to measure undulations in a surface. So I think what they do is they focus a beam onto a sensor, and then they put it through, or after they've put it through a beam splitter, some of the beam gets bounced off the surface, and then they recombine it on the surface of the sensor, and that produces interference fringes. And those fringes depend on the shape of the surface that is underneath the mouse. and then they can detect the movement in X and Y by doing some sort of correlation or deconvolution. What I can't understand is why nobody's... you've got to trace the experiments to understand what was written in the textbooks at the time that the textbooks were written. Some physicists, the ones who paid attention to experiment at any rate, referenced particular experimental results. They didn't necessarily... I don't think Einstein ever repeated Fizeau's experiment himself, but he did pay quite a lot of attention, I would have thought, to the method, because he refers to it. And the Wikipedia page on Fizeau's experiments on measuring the relative velocity I'm depressed. So you do need to look at the history, and it would be fun to repeat the experiments, but you see these videos. I saw one by some guy who calls himself Alpha Phoenix, doing Fizeau's experiment in Santa Barbara somewhere with a digital camera and a laser and a retroreflector 2 miles away or something. But quite how he justifies calling that Fizeau's experiment is beyond me. I mean, Fizeau was working at the time Lewis Carroll was in Oxford. In 1832, Lewis Carroll was 18. He wasn't in Oxford. (1860). I'm sick of this complete fucking chaos. It's all my fault, apparently. I can't even install an operating system on this computer that somebody's given me. I don't even know if the web page that I look at for OpenBSD is actually the web page that everyone else sees. I don't know if anybody else bothers looking at it. I look at it, I see that they raised 50 or 100,000 more for their 2023 fundraising target for the OpenBSD Foundation. They don't seem to sell CDs anymore, they don't seem to need it. My computer doesn't behave like I'd expect a computer to. It does different things. If I boot it up and wait too long before starting X Windows doesn't start. And sometimes the desktop changes. I don't know if it's just that I'm a bit tired, I'm not paying attention to what's going on, but I'm sick of it. I'm thinking of going to a hardware store and buying myself a good set of sharp knives and finishing this fucking project of crap.